Well, it's kind of funny. Dave Sutherland's helping me tonight. He came to the back sacristy, and I looked at him like, "You're preaching." Got all nervous. Well, great gospel reading today, and it reminded me a little bit of a story. You know, when I was over at Father's house, I was helping him move out. He just told me that he was going to be heading to rehab, and that's when I crashed and burned in his garage, and I totally messed up my knee. And I remember being in the ambulance, you know, going off to Swedish Memorial Hospital and saying to myself, I'm like, God, right now, really? Like, we're losing a priest? I don't know what's going on with my leg, but I heard like a whip sound. That can't be good, right? And I go, right now, really? That's what you want? This is your will? Right? And I questioned him, and I started feeling down a little bit about myself. Like, you know, you can almost have like a little pity party. And then after my surgery, you know, my parents are German. They're not very positive people. And they were like, oh boy, 6 weeks, huh? You gonna make it? Or, you know, like, it's really down in doomsday. And I said, you know, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna change my way of doing things. And so it was a great recovery because I got back to doing those things with God that I kind of forgot about, you know. I started praying the rosary every day. I started praying Divine Mercy every day. I started reading Scripture every day. I was writing homilies every day. You know, I sat that moment in silence with God where I just kind of would lay on my bed or sit in a chair in a moment of silence and just say, hey God, here's your servant. You know, come into my heart. What do you need to say to me, Lord? You know, it was all some of those little things that I had forgotten about. But you know, that adversity, it made me a lot stronger. And at the time, I hate to say it, it couldn't be better. It was just in time. It was almost like, wham, this is what I want, Michael. This is what I want. This is my will. And you know, Jesus is quoting Abraham here in the gospel, and the Jews are getting upset, but what he's really saying is he's saying, hey, Abraham went out. He was going to sacrifice his son. God stopped him. God said, I'll provide the sacrifice. And Jesus, and he said, your descendants will be numerous as the stars, right? We're all descendants of Abraham. Jesus is a descendant of Abraham and his family and his tribe, right? It all started with Abraham and Sarah. And because of Abraham's faith to God, Abraham gets rewarded by being handed down the Messiah in his bloodline. How cool is that? And bad things happen to good people. Let's face it, right? All the saints, if you read their stories, every single one of them had adversity. Every single one of them had hardships. Every single one, right? But through those hardships, through that adversity, made them stronger. Made them a heck of a lot stronger. And that's what it's all about today, is our faith. So as we march on to Easter, and by the way, one more week from today is Holy Thursday already. Went fast, man. Went super, super fast. We're here. You know, let's gut check time with our faith, right? How's our faith? How's our heart? How about when there's times in our life that maybe we were challenged with adversity, maybe challenged with something that was really bad for us? How did we come out? How did we come out? Did it make us stronger? Did it make us stronger in our relationship with Jesus Christ? Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.